Hey, it's Ayla, and you're listening to Not That Kind of CEO. Today's episode has been living in my notes since August last year, and it has the ominous title of We Are All Sick and Miserable, and It Has to Stop. Just every time I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna record this one. And then I read back my notes, and I was like, yeah, but we actually need to think about this. We need to hear this. And so we're in March of 2026 right now. And for the last few months, we've been saying, like, oh my God, the world's on fire. Like for the last year, maybe even, the world is on fire. I mean, it's true. And now it's even more on fire than it was before. And there is a correlation there, I think. I'm not trying to diminish what's going on in the world, okay? Let me just state that up front. But everyone is tired. Everyone is busy. Everyone is everyone is overstimulated. Everyone is on edge because well, the world's on fire. We're all running on a low battery and we're all also pretending it's normal. And I don't think it's normal. I don't think it's a life phase. I don't think it's the ages of your kids or your business or the fact that the world's on fire. So, in this episode, I want to explore something that might be a little uncomfortable. What if we're voluntarily participating in our own burnout every single day in ways that feel completely harmless? Hi, I'm Ayla, and I am not that kind of CEO. You won't find me in a fancy corner office, but rather in a quiet corner of my home. I followed a bold vision and built my life and business around it. That's how I ended up in France, where I'm raising two little girls, renovate our 500-year-old castle together with my husband, run a coaching business, and still have space to breathe. After a decade of helping women simplify their business to make room for what matters most, I created this show to help you do the same. Let's build your business around the life you love. Welcome to Not That Kind of CEO. Hey love, welcome back to Not That Kind of CEO. And as I said, today is a bit of a different episode than normally we would have. No, we're not talking about business all that much, although it's still all very important what we're talking about because well, everyone's sick and everyone's burned out and everyone's overwhelmed and everyone is overstimulated. And yeah, that's just the state of the world right now. As I already said, there's maybe not that much we can do about it. Like, let's all keep doing the little things and advocate the change we want to see in the world. And definitely like march and stuff like that. But also, we need to take care of ourselves, of our loved ones. I sometimes feel like this is just a life phase. Like I'm turning 40 this year. I have people around me that are actually getting divorces. Like, isn't that wild that it used to be our parents, no, the parents of our friends that were getting divorces and we'd feel for our friends like, oh my God, your parents are getting divorced. That's so sad. And now it's my friends are getting divorces. Like is that even legal? Can we do that? Are we there? People's parents are dying and stuff like that. And my parents are definitely starting to feel their own mortality. So it's the life phase. We have little kids running around that are driving us mad from time to time. Like no matter how much you love them, yet they're still gonna drive you mad. So there is a life phase situation going on there. But I've got a feeling it's global as well because well, people are it's not just the people turning 40 this year, like the millennials that are feeling it. It's also the generations that come after us who are looking at the state of the world and just going, "Oh, well, this ain't great." So, what I wanted to do today is just give you a bit of a. Now, I don't want to say perspective because I'm not going to go into the news and give you a perspective on that because I honestly don't think there is a perspective. Like it ain't great, you know? But what I do want to give you perspective on is that I am not sick or burned out or overwhelmed or overstimulated. Question mark. I am Run Burgundy. It feels like it's shameful to admit that I'm actually very happy right now. Like, I personally am very happy. Am I worried that World War III is going to start? Yes, of course, I'm worried. Am I worried that my kids are going to be out of a job because AI is going to take over the world? Yes, of course. Am I even more worried that World War III is going to be won by the robots? Like, yeah. Uh, but on a day-to-day basis, I am not burned out. I'm not overwhelmed, and I'm not overstimulated, and I am. I'm happy. And as I said, it feels like a shame to admit it because with the state of the world being as it is, it feels like we're all should be going around just going, oh my God, hushed voices, you know? But it's my mission here on earth in this lifetime to create a ripple of happiness. And I refuse to be unhappy in my day-to-day life because I'm afraid for the state of the world. However, like that might not sound very logical, but it is the way it is, and I hope that more people would be f- be able to feel that way, because it's just such a shame if the state of the entire world is weighing you down so much that you cannot be happy with the things that you do have. And that's why I still would try try to help you maybe feel a bit better if you are feeling that way, you know? So I've written some things down, uh, and things I do to keep me sane, because that's what it is, feeling sane. Maybe it's not happy because there's always that part of your brain that's going, I wonder what's gonna happen next. But to keep me sane, I also this is the reason why I hesitated so long with this episode, because I'm gonna say stuff here and people are gonna listen to it and people are just gonna go, "You're trying to ignore the state of the world." Yes, I am. There you have it. What I wrote down is that I blocked the news and that I don't watch political media either. I adopt a medieval approach to world news. And when I told this to my mother a few weeks ago, she was just looking at me like an owl, just like unblinking, just going, "What? You do not watch the news?" I was like, "Nope, I do not watch the news. I do not read the news. I do not look at political news either. I adopt a medieval approach to world news. And that means literally go back to medieval times where people did not have printed media. Like they did not have a newspaper. They had to rely on, well, basically gossip, but also people traveling, coming in from other parts of the world, spreading big events. Like that's what you would know it if your king had died. Like that's the kind of stuff like, oh, we're now in a war with England. You would know that because news travels. But I would not know that a 14-year-old girl died in a car accident in Australia or something like that. It's the small news that I would like to, well, block out. I don't want to know that kind of stuff. Like it makes me unhappy. It makes me think of kids who are drowning and stuff like that. I should put a trigger warning on this episode. This I don't want to know all the tiny news that makes me sad. And even if it's just like I'm pointing out the heavy stuff here, like I really don't want to know that. But even if it's just like I caught a glimpse of an article from Holland the other day, and it was like severely beaten cat left out in the streets, and I was like, I feel so bad for this cat, and it makes me feel sad in my day, and I don't want to know about this cat. I just want to live my life blissfully unaware of the minor horrors that are going on in the world. I will receive the major news. Like, I don't live on a rock. People will tell me, you will see it online, whether you like it or not. And you will stay up to date with what's going on. I just don't want to know the nitty gritty, horrific details. Local news, yes, because it finds you more easily. National news, absolutely, because you need to stay aware of what's going on in your country, I think. It will find you, like trust that it will find you. And then global news, like big World War III has started news, that kind of stuff will find you too. But then the rest of it, I block it out. Okay, so that's my approach to world news, like the medieval approach. Then I have something as well for the fiction that I'm consuming. I do not watch any, I think, drama shows. I do not watch, well, I don't want to go into specific here because it depends on the person that you are. I do not watch drama shows and I do not binge them at all. I prefer light shows and fun or high fantasy, something that's so unreal that it doesn't matter. Like Game of Thrones, for example, like you could say that that's maybe a drama show, but it's also so unreal that it won't affect me in my daily life. I do not like to watch reality shows where overly dramatic people are stabbing each other in the back and stuff like that. But I know that there's a lot of people who actually really relax from watching shows like that because it's also kind of unreal. Anyway, it doesn't really matter what you prefer. I prefer light and fun and high fantasy because there is enough drama going on already. I don't need to fill my head further with super realistic things on the TV that make you feel bad for the characters and stuff like that. Like I either want to laugh or say, it's like thing like it's so high fantasy that it's like I don't care what happens there. I'm not taking it with me into my own life. The same goes for books. I just don't give me drama. Like I like a good spy novel and stuff like that. Ironically, I'm currently reading a spy novel about Iran and a war. That was weird. Anyway, that aside, it's this goes for like all the fiction and stuff that I watch and read. There's another thing that I do, which is I am not talking to AI about feelings. And I highly recommend that you don't do that either. Imagine that you would prompt your friends on how they should respond. That's really weird. It's not that weird, actually. Sorry, my Libra rising is showing again. I'm always like pros, cons, pros, cons. But I do prompt my friends because sometimes I send them a message and I just go, I just want to vent, and I vent. And sometimes I ask them like, what would you do in a situation like this? But it's still them that's answering, and they're not trying to please me. Like I think that's the main thing. I did talk to AI about feelings when I first started using it. I don't know, when was that? Like 2 years ago when ChatGPT really was not, became mainstream. I think I did talk to AI about feelings then as well, where I would, instead of venting to my friends, I would actually vent to AI, which is why I'm now saying do not talk to AI about feelings, because in the end, you're just sort of talking to yourself in a way, because it's giving you back stuff that you put in can be helpful, but then I would rather just journal out and stay in my own thoughts. In the end, I just prefer to have a human connection with either someone who's really not afraid to not please me and will just go, well, Isla, you suck. You are looking at this way in the wrong way. And I would go, oh, okay, I'm the asshole here. Cool, good to know. And it just makes more sense. And otherwise, I journal and I stay within myself and I stay true to myself and my own values and things that I think that are important. And that's also a human connection to yourself. I wrote down good food, healthy food, exercise, fresh air. Yes, also, yes, we are talking about how to not be sick and burned out and overwhelmed and overstimulated. And in that aspect, I think that healthy food, exercise, fresh air are so important. There's a voice in my head now saying, for as long as you can get healthy food, because, the world. Anyway, at least fresh air, maybe, if we wear oxygen masks. Just go on a walk, look at the birds, eat something healthy, make your body feel happy, because then it's easier to make your mind feel happy. Then I wrote down having a vision. I'm staying on the naive side of optimism. I love that for myself. And I wrote that down in August. This is fun. I'm looking at what I wrote down in August. So it's still all very applicable today. Staying on a naive side of optimism. Being on a complaints diet. That one is so good. Can you solve it now? Great. If you can't solve it now, shove it aside and fix it another time. Having a vision is important. That's a hill I will die on. If you're starting to look at everyday's things that are working against you and that are going wrong, whether it's personally or in the world, it's going to drag you down. Keep your eyes on your vision. Where do you want to go despite what's going on everywhere? And then staying on the naive side of optimism. This is actually what we do a lot here in the castle, where it's living in a castle is fucking inconvenient. Like, it's freaking cold in the winter. It's drafty. When it rains, it leaks. And you kind of get used to it when you're here long enough. You're like, oh, yeah, we need to empty all the buckets in the attic because it rained really hard and otherwise it's going to leak. And we actually have an attic full of buckets because it leaked. That's just, I would never have imagined that. But I like to stay on the naive side of optimism. So I'm like, we'll get it fixed. We'll get it fixed. And we will somewhere in the future. And until that time, I'm just, working with what we have. And very often when it's cold, we say to each other, "Oh, imagine what it's going to be like when we finally have central heating." And then we get so lost in the daydream of having central heating that it doesn't really matter that we're fucking cold right now. The complaints diet is something I really love. We had a friend over last summer. He's such a crazy fool kind of guy. He's living life to the fullest. It's always such a joy to be around him. And he was going on a complaints diet where he couldn't complain about anything for a week. And every time he started to complain about something, he would just catch himself and he'd go, "Oh my fucking God, I'm doing it again. I'm complaining. No, stop. I'm not complaining." And then he would try to turn the complaint into something that's maybe like an opportunity to learn or something. And the whole point of doing something like that is catching yourself on how often you're complaining, whether it's out loud or to yourself. And the more you complain, the more it's going to live in your head and it's just going to dampen your spirits. And I think that that goes for everything that I'm saying here is like, you don't want to dampen your spirits because it's bad enough as it is. Just keep your spirits high. And going on a complaints diet, that really helps. The thing I said about can I solve it now or can't I solve it right now? That really helps me when I lie awake at night. And sometimes you're just awake at night and sometimes you lie awake at night. Like, that's a big difference. And when I lie awake at night, my brain automatically jumps to all the things that I cannot solve right now. And I've really tried to become present of those thoughts and like say to myself, okay, I see why you're thinking about this, but can you solve it right now or not? And especially when it is something that you would need to like call someone for and it's 4 a.m., like, I cannot solve this right now. If it's something administrative, like, the reasonable part of me says, "Yeah, I could go solve it right now. Like, I could get out of bed and go sit behind my computer, but then tomorrow will be a super bad day because I'll be super tired. So, no, I actually cannot solve it right now. So, I'm not going to think about it." And then, there you enter the whole area of do not think about the purple elephant. And whoop, there you are thinking about the purple elephant. But it really, I just shove it aside and I decide that I don't want to think about it and then I don't think about it. So there you go. Basically, overall, what I'm trying to say is, how's your sim bar looking? Like, if you were living in the Sims right now, the computer game, The Sims, what kind of color is the bar above your head? Is it red? Is it orange? Is it green? Like, is your sim actually waving its little arms at you, going, "Oh my God, help me"? Are you too hot? Loose clothes. Are you too cold? Put on a sweater. Are you hungry? Eat. Are you thirsty? Drink. Rest. Make sure that your sim bar is as green as possible. Otherwise, none of this all makes sense. Like, you cannot try to conquer the state of the world and just merrily continue on with your days if your sim bar is just red and your sim is screaming at you like, I'm gonna die right now. You need to take care of me. And the greener your sim bar, the better you'll be able to navigate whatever the fuck is going on. And whenever you're able to better navigate all that, the better you are to stay focused on the present, on your business, on being with your kids when they're home, stuff like that. And not from a desperate kind of way of like, I don't know when I'm going to see you next. We might live in a bunker all next week, but just stay present. I hope I hope that when an actual World War III breaks out, I can keep holding on to this and just make the best out of every fucking day, because you do that and everything gets better, better. I don't know how you say this. And then you're not so overstimulated and not so overwhelmed, and just, turn off the TV with all the headlines going on. And if it makes you feel better, go donate stuff. I didn't even write that down, but that's what helps me a lot, because I very often feel like this is so easy to say because I'm not here getting deported. I'm not here being attacked by bombs, losing family members. You know what? I'm quite safe and happy in my little bubble here. So it's easy to say stuff like this. But I also want to contribute to the horrors that are going on. So one of the things that makes me feel happier is to donate. Go donate to the Red Cross, go donate to your local food shelter, stuff like that. Do something in your own way. Participate in however you can help the world. That will also make you a lot happier on a day-to-day basis. Okay, I'm gonna stop this now because otherwise I'm gonna ramble. I really hope that this episode has helped you, can help you in the coming times of staying a bit more grounded to yourself and a bit more centered to yourself, and drown out, like, I don't want to say the noise, because for a lot of people this noise is their reality. But if for you it is noise distracting you from your reality, especially that medieval approach to everything, like, I really hope that you will feel okay to accept that maybe you're going to be knowing less details and still be up to date with what's going on. You don't want to be ignorant. That's what I'm trying to say. But, I hope this helps, that without becoming ignorant, you will also make the best life for yourself, the best days for yourself, and be happy with what you have. Okay, I will see you in the next episode next week, where we're back to more business kind of things. And we are actually discussing something that's so interesting, because we're going to be talking about the situation where you start your day all optimistic, and by lunchtime you're like, oh fuck, I'm already behind, and that makes your mood get bad. And then at the end of the day you're just going, okay, I I suck at business. Should I just stop? Because I clearly suck. So if you ever had days like those, definitely follow the show so you'll actually know when next week is coming out. I will see you then. And until then, I hope you are able to stay safe and healthy and happy and do something back for the world. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Not That Kind of CEO. If this episode gave you clarity, encouragement, or just even a moment to breathe, I'd love it if you left a review. It helps more women like you find this show, and that means the world to me. And if you're ready to build a business that fits your life, you know where to find me. See you in the next episode.